Alright, so here is my novel. I'm going to start now. Chapter 1. He was leaning on the banister, zipping up his blue jacket. "Going out, Ava," my dad said. "Okay," I responded dispassionately. "I'll probably be in bed when you get back." It certainly wasn't unusual for my father to go for a late-night jog. In fact, it was part of his daily routine. He was tying his shoes now. "As you should. I'll be sure to see you in the morning." "That was a great episode we just watched. Forensic Files reminds us to be on our toes," I remarked. Forensic Files was a true crime show that demonstrated the process forensic scientists use to solve murders. It was something that my dad and I enjoyed watching often. "Exactly," my father assured me. "That's why little girls like you need to stay on their guard." "Hey, I'm not a little girl, mister. I'm 14, I protested. "Ah, but you are to someone as old as I am," my dad teased me. I gave him a mock pouting face. We'd had this kind of conversation 1,000 times before, but I never got tired of it. "Well, have a nice jog, then." "Good night, my dear, and good luck with school tomorrow." That's when he opened the main door. A gust of cool wind tugged on his bristles. He blew me a final kiss goodbye as he stepped out. I didn't follow through with my assurance of heading to bed. I never did. Whenever my dad left for a jog, I would stay up and eat whilst checking my phone notifications. Eating and browsing seemed to be the only things keeping me tethered to this earth, because they make me feel high. Sorry, that was a typo. Alright, so as always, the hours flew by as the evening elapsed. I finally came out of my stupor when the clock hit midnight. Oh crap, I needed to get to bed at 7 a.m. for school the next day, so I brushed my teeth and tucked myself into bed, trying to refresh myself for another dreary day. Daylight flooded through my window. Based on the amount of light there was, I assumed that it was around late morning, which meant I'd overslept. Holy guacamole. I threw away the covers and pushed myself out of bed. I'd probably missed 3 of my classes already. I raced around my room, gathering everything I considered necessary for school and shoving it into my backpack. I was screaming my dad's name as I did all this. He'd have no choice but to drive me now. I stumbled down the stairs, slipping and nearly falling on the penultimate stair. "Dad, Dad, Dad!" I shouted. "Where the hell are you? I need you to drive me to school." No answer. Maybe he decided to go for an early morning jog without letting me know. "Dad!" I screamed, even though I knew it was futile. "Dad!" I ran into the kitchen. The little stools we typically used were stacked up on the counter. The dishwasher was beeping, signaling that the dishes hadn't been taken out yet, and there wasn't anything on the table. No milk, cereal, leftover pie, nothing. It clearly hadn't been in use since last night. That's when I really started to freak out. Unable to take the haunting silence that was crashing down on me from my once welcoming home, I decided that it was best to leave the house. I plopped myself on the curb in front of my house and put my face in my hands, weeping uncontrollably. I didn't really know why I was crying like this. I never did when I threw these temper tantrums. But despite that difference, one thing that occurred in all of my tantrums was my burning desire to get my stressors resolved. And right now, the biggest stressor was my lost father. I didn't know how long I sat there in absolute misery. 30 minutes, an hour? It could have been 30 hours for all I cared. But after that amount of time, I heard someone frantically making their way towards me. I gathered the courage to look up and found myself face to face with my neighbor, Miss Brady. She sat down next to me and took out a handkerchief from her pocket. There, dear. It's going to be okay," she said in what she seemed to think was a comforting purr, dabbing at my eyes with her handkerchief. What the heck? I never got this kind of reassurance from strangers when I got upset like this. Most of the time, people would stare at me like I was psycho. It's even more surprising that I was getting this treatment from Miss Brady, who disapproved intensely of crybabies. She had no patience for that, being the no-nonsense brisk woman she was. "The police will be coming, I'm sure. They're still inspecting the crime scene right now," said Miss Brady. "Why would the police be coming?" I abruptly stopped crying, completely dumbfounded. She looked surprised I didn't already know. She squinted at my face, clearly contemplating something. After a few seconds, she seemed to come to a decision on whatever was plaguing her. "Ava, look, please don't take this the hard way, but someone found a dead body at the edge of the meadow by Target. That's where my father goes for his jogs. Did he find a body then?" Are they questioning him now?" I interrupted. "No. The body they found belonged to your father." 4 minutes. Yeah, I think we're going to stop here for now. I might read chapter 2. If you guys want me to read chapter 2, I'll send out another poll. And then that's it for the sneak peek.